Okay, as you look at a small school, you have to evaluate your human resources. And as we've looked at adding activities at Aquinas High School, I'm the activities director here. I'm the activities director. I teach 4 classes, a couple of different classroom preps, and I'm the head football coach and head boys track coach. When we look at an activity that we want to add, what is going to be the resource? How much is going to stretch our resources? And I think within the area of football, we're doing that all the time without even calling it that or thinking of that. What are the numbers out for football? In our small school, we have 65 boys next year, and we expect 40, 42, 43 kids out for football, which is a very good number. And that's been pretty consistent for us. But in a small school, you really need to share kids. You got your wrestling coach or your basketball coach. They may be assistants for you, and you want to help them out. They want to help you out. We had this year where some of our basketball coaches got a couple of basketball players come out that may not have come out. And you need to also share the fine arts. We have a really nice fine arts program. We're pretty good across most of our athletics. And so you need to share the kids. And that takes, sometimes you have to kind of swallow your pride a little bit and realize that, and football is not always the number one sport for every kid that you have, because, a lot of kids go out because they love football, and some kids go out because they want to be with their friends. And, they're not all going to love football like we love it, but in a small school, you need to get those kids out. Then your numbers out determine how you place your kids on your offense. Hopefully if you have 40 kids out, you have 12 to 13 linemen, and you got a whole bunch of backs. Nowadays, when you open up a football roster with schools, you see a lot of wide receivers. And one reason is because a lot of them are just one back, they're pistol, and they're quarterback, and they need a lot of wide receivers. It used to be about 20 years ago when a team had more wide receivers than linemen. I was pretty happy with that, because usually we would kind of dominate them up front. But that's not always the case nowadays, because the wide receivers, they're blocking, they're using, just the nature of the game is people are using more wide receivers. So, and the number of linemen are important. I think in the wing T, I think you need 2 line coaches if you can, because, in our wing T, our tight end through our tackle away from the tight end, that's 6 linemen. And it takes a couple coaches when you go team reps to really break that down. Also in a small school, if your you usually actually use the quarterback a fair amount in the offense, which we do. Like about most people, they throw the ball 10 times and he runs the ball 6, 7 times. Is your backup quarterback is probably good enough to start at halfback. So when you plan your practices, you have to give your backup quarterback reps. He's got to get reps, and he's probably a starter at a halfback or some other position for you. So you have to learn how to build that into your breakdown reps in your group time and your individual time, and also in your team time. And the number you get out helps you determine your depth, because for us, a lot of times a tackle is very, very similar to a tight end. So we've had kids who have went from a tackle to tight end or tight end to tackle during a new season, or actually during the season itself. So as you look at your players, and that's a lot of your human resources, but your other ones are your assistant coaches. If you want them to break down film and you want them to meet and do stuff, you may have an English teacher there who has 3 different English preps where they're correcting a lot of papers. It's really hard for them to do. You got to look at all the people in your program, and they're part of the resources, and you don't want to stretch them too thin. And if they're also the basketball coach and the wrestling coach, et cetera, they're going to be thinking about other sports too. So in a small school, the head coach, I think, just ends up doing more of the stuff that sometimes gets doled out at a larger school. That's okay. That's part of the, that's part of the being in a small school. Who keeps the field up? A lot of small schools, the head coaches and the coaching staff line the field. Now, here we don't line our game field, the city does, but I do line our practice field. I do line our junior high field, and I also line our band field. She's a good lady to keep on my side. She's a good lady, and so I line her field, and then we won't mark the fields from during the year. Another part of your emphasis is you got to plan and execute a practice schedule. I think that's one of the most important things you do, besides the building relationships with the kids, getting them to somewhat like you and respect you, knowing who they are, getting them to play for the school. I think the next most important thing is actually more important than X and O's is your plan and execution of your practice schedule itself. Small school emphasis in anything, even professional football, you want to limit your injuries. Um, uh, do you stop running a drill when you've had enough reps on, or do you go overtime? Are you running, here's one, do you run fade drills every day if you're throwing the ball deep? We don't. We don't throw the ball very deep anyway, but we don't run fade drills or corner routes 2 days in a row. We don't want our ends to get tired. You run fade drills and corner drills 4 days in a row, they're going to get tired as the week goes on. They're not going to be quite as ready to play Friday night. Do you know when to stop a drill? How do you end a drill? How do you end a drill with contact? The kids understand how to end a drill. We very seldom ever go to the ground. We scrimmage twice a year and, have quick whistle scrimmages. We don't go to any summer camp because I want to control the whistle. I know what I see and I whistle it quick, so we try not to get kids hurt. We only put football pads on twice a year at practice. We put them on for the scrimmages. Otherwise, we're in kids wear their shorts and then they wear their girdles and thigh pads underneath. So they got basically everything on except their knee pads, and they like it because when it's hot and humid, they're cooler. So do not wear players down. Limit injuries. One of the ways to help limit injuries is to keep your players fresh. You really got to promote sleep too, promote rest and stuff, recovery, so the kids aren't tired. So our kids aren't tired, their bodies aren't tired, worn down at the end of a week. And then another small school emphasis, I think you got to, and I think that probably every level, you develop your speed. Try to develop speed and execution. Try to be quick. In order to do that, you have to know what you're doing. Your kids have to understand your offense. Plus, we do time sprints once a week in the mornings before school. And we also have some sprint competitions, usually one day a week or one day every couple of weeks, to try to develop speed. And that's kind of becoming a model in track and football right now.
Coaches, I really hope you got some great information from that YouTube video. Again, hit the subscribe and like button down below. It gives us valuable data, and you also get notified when I upload new content to this channel. Thanks for watching, coaches.